So let's begin by finding a seat that helps us, one, expand the ribs and breathe deeply. And that seated position that also helps us feel this vertical alignment. And I'll describe just a couple of ways you might sense that. It really depends on sensitivity and practice. And so if I connect kind of a spot on the very top of my skull bones, there's some sutures right there, and I move, or like a plumb line, follow that right through the center of my body to the tip of the tailbone. I'll end up with a vertical line of space. Now, if that feels too fuzzy, ephemeral, go with the spine. Okay? Spine is a nice bony landmark, very findable, solid, right? So either of those markers are fine. What they provide is a way to gather, feeling awareness centrally. So we'll organize our personhood around anything. We can organize around a belief system. We can organize around maybe a physical wound or a medical condition. We can organize around a core. So we're choosing a core today. When we organize in and around our core, we feel it's possible to feel that the entire body breathes. So this is the why for me, right? This is why do this practice? Because as we gather a sufficient, almost threshold amount of attention and feeling awareness, another way of perceiving our body turns over. And that way of perceiving our body is a fluidic body that breathes, that conducts. That's more and more transparent, less dense. And so that's our work today. Keep gathering towards center. For our breath work this morning, we'll work alternate nostril breathing. the first portion of it will be without any holds, and then the second part will be with holds. I'll talk us through most of it and include the transition. Let's go with the right hand this morning. Okay? So if you want to follow along on the same side I'm working, I'm going to choose right hand. Right hand thumb, close right nostril. So we'll begin with no holds, alternate nostril breathing. Inhale for about 10 count through the left nostril. And we'll make a switch. The ring finger closes left, open up the right, exhale out the right. 10 count. And we'll take more. So if it's a little longer than 10, great. Okay. We'll repeat this a few times. Inhaling through the right, 10 count. Switch over, right closed, left nostril open, exhale. Let's continue just a few more in this pattern. So I inhale through one nostril. I exhale out the other. Now as we track with our breath is, there's visceral tracks in our breathing. As we track with our breath, we'll know precisely how our feeling awareness converges, spreads, concentrates, right? So by feeling our breath, we're getting a real-time readout on the quality of our attention, the breadth, the depth, its reach. Let's say the next time you exhale out the left nostril, we'll pause. There's plenty of time, and if you set your hands down, we can switch the cross of legs. And now working alternate nostril breathing with the insertion of a hold. Okay. I'm going to switch hands. So now I'll switch to using my left hand. Using the thumb to close the left nostril, I'll talk us through a first round. Inhale through the right nostril, 10 count. Ring finger closes right nostril, hold, 10 count. To hold without strain or struggle, soften interiorly. Soften through what you perceive to be the core. And when you need to exhale, exhale out the left nostril, 10 count. Inhale through the left, 10. Hold 10. And feel the nose is positioned over the sternum. It's usually an alternate nostril breathing. I'll notice that we start to hang the head toward the hand, or we start to push the head into a tilt. Remember, our core extends through the brain. So our core is not so much of a question mark with the head hanging over to the side. We're feeling for that verticality. Okay, we'll continue. 10, 10, 10. The nice thing about tracking with and feeling for that core is that we may feel some alternate pulls, sways. We may feel how we're pulled to move our head this way or twist our torso another way. And let's continue until we've exhaled out the right nostril. So just let's set up for a light amount of twist and go half lotus with right on top of left. That means we'll be twisting to our right. If half lotus feels a bit too much on your legs, just make it cross-legged, right over left. Inhaling. Feel the lift of ribs up away from hips. Aligning the brain, the center of the brain over the center of the pelvis. And then exhaling, we'll turn to our right. Okay. Your right hand can remain on the ground for more of that vertical support. As the right hand pushes down, you can kind of provide your spine support. Or the right hand can reach behind the back to grab foot. Either is perfect. And let's just, as we're getting started this morning, if we focus these next couple of breaths in the solar plexus, my sense is that we'll be able to soften and feel that fluidic wash on the underneath side of the brain. So feel for that, breathing from the solar plexus into the back of the low ribs, the sides of the low ribs. The tailbone moves down. So when we include that reach downward into the core, it can reduce maybe the inadvertent tightening underneath the skull and the brain. Inhaling, come back centrally. Reaching arms out to the side, palms up. Now exhaling, roll the arm bones inwardly. So that means the thumbs point down, the palms will face down on their way to facing back. So rotating the arm bones here. Inhale, lifting the chest up, turning the palms up. So with these couple of breaths in between our twists, focus and feel those upper spine bones moving. Exhaling, turn the palms down. So my thumbs point down, my palms face back. I'm also tipping my chin down because that will also get a little movement in the back of the neck, upper back. Inhaling is the palm up move. Exhaling is the thumb down move. We'll do a couple more. So right here in the sternum, the ribs connecting to the sternum, those are joints. And yes, those joints move. Joints are like little satellite hotspots of information, movement information. There's a lot of signaling information, movement information, electrical information, pressure information that occurs in joint areas. Okay. So this beginning part will switch the cross of our legs. To me is a little bit like kind of defragging. It's like gently breathing, softening away little cobwebs. Getting the breath to help undulate, lift, and very gently start to move all of these joints from the head, through the neck and the spine and the ribs, all the way down to the tailbone. Okay? So if we've got that left over right cross, we'll work the twist to our left. Inhaling. Maybe you can feel that wash of breath right up the back of the spine bones as the ribs expand. And then exhale, we'll turn to our left. I'm putting my right hand on the left leg. The left hand placement optional. You can plant it on the ground. So if I have a little pinch or something going on in my back or my muscles, I like to put the hand down and push, because sometimes I can get that vertical kind of spreading out. Okay? And if you like grabbing for the foot, it's just another option for our twist. So let's do this together. Let's take the spine in sections just so we can practice feeling the breath's influence in these high information centers. So the tailbone, the sacrum, the pelvis, the low back. As you start a breath lower in the body, the tailbone sinks effortlessly down. Maybe you can feel a slight widening or a little shift in the pelvis. The mid-spine. Can you usher that breath from that low back into the mid-spine? And do you feel those little spine bones starting to, are they susceptible to breath's influence? On the upper spine. And the head bones. Yes, skull bones breathe. They are susceptible to motions of fluid and breath. And if we got to work together yesterday, one of the ways to encourage that, feeling that movement, is relaxing the eyes, and jaw, the lips. And then inhaling, come back around to center. We'll do one final round of kite hawk. Reaching the arms out to the side, turning the palms up. And then exhaling, rotate the arm bones in the socket the other way. So I tip the thumbs down and I just keep going, chin down. So as you're inhaling and turning the palms up, bringing the head over the chest, maybe you can feel how this is most like those chest opening moves. It biases the front of the heart and the shoulders. And then as we exhale, turning the palms down, maybe you can feel how that biases, feeling the upper back bones. We'll do a couple more. So if you've taken like a yoga class where they do a lot of the cat-cow moves, like defragging the spine, this is kind of what we're doing. It's getting the shoulder joints to move, all those elbow parts, neck, upper back, rib parts. So we don't have to force it. And then when we inhale, we can come upright, relax the arms, uncross the legs. All right. And again, it's so good to see you all here. I'm so happy to have you in practice. Let's lie on our back. When we do, couple of things super helpful. Have the roll nearby, have the block nearby. We'll get to using them both. So lying on back, now again, this is more of I call it defragging. It's a computer term, but we are informational energetic highways networked all around, if that analogy works for you. And now, working these abdominals to me feels a lot like kind of defragging the sacral and low back and the tailbone area and the hip sockets. So, I don't have it. It's under the couch. Inhale the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. You feel how that smoothly lifts that part of the spine, that upper back just lifts right up. And now curl the tailbone. If you have that abdominal ability, exhale, reach out through the left leg. As you exhale with the low belly muscles, pulling them down. Feel those little motions. They're tiny in the tailbone and sacrum. Right? Inhale, bend the left knee, keeping the shoulder blades up. Curling tailbone, exhale, the right leg reaches out. Drawing the belly down. Now as I keep the front of my body activated, working, inhaling, bend the right knee, coming back centrally, I can route my breath into the spine side of my body. Curling the tailbone, exhale, left leg reaches out. Using those low belly muscles, drawing in. It's like condensing the low belly and then pulling it down. Inhaling, keep the chest, upper abdominals working. So you can spread that breath into the spine side. Curl tailbone, exhale, right leg reaches out. Draw the low belly down. Inhale, bend right knee. Let's continue. We'll do 5 more on each side. We'll do those at our own pace. So continue when ready. What I'm suggesting is that when we work with the breath to kind of gently massage, or what I'm calling defrag, these joints, these spine joints, these informational hot spots, is that aligning with breath means we don't have to effort or agenda quite so much, quite so hard. It takes a little bit more focus. It takes a softer, steady focus. But we're letting our body be bathed in the influence of each breath. Right? Having a plan is cool. Putting ourselves in an environment through which to be influenced is also a pretty cool way to work. So that's my suggestion today. To feel our body bathing, floating, suspended, supported in this exquisite field of breath, and letting each breath play with the body. Great. And when you feel done, you just set the head down. Looks like we're all pretty much Done. Good. Now's the time to grab that roll. Now the roll, when we squeeze it, admittedly, there's some effort, right? Reach the legs straight up. Can we still feel breath's influence in the body? Inhale into low belly and low back. Can you feel those bones spreading, expanding, growing with each breath? Squeeze inner legs into the roll, curl tailbone. Exhaling, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Draw low belly down. And then inhaling, let up on the squeeze. Place the head down to the ground. Squeeze the roll. Or momentarily holding the breath, curling tailbone, exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Now as you maintain that inner leg squeeze, pull low belly down. Inhaling, head to ground, relaxing some of that squeeze so you feel that pressure offloading. And then pause, retaining the breath just for a moment, squeeze the roll. And with each successive squeeze, can you feel into the leg, into the knee, into the calf? Curl tailbone, exhale, head and shoulder blades off the ground. Drawing low belly down as if away from the roll. Good. Inhaling, let's set the head down. Relaxing some of that squeeze. Take a free exhale. There's a part 2. Here we go. Inhaling. This time, pick the head and the shoulder blades up off the ground. Squeezing the roll. Exhale. Curling tailbone. Reach elbows toward the right thigh. Reaching elbows toward the right, so you're starting to spread the skin and the tissue around the upper back. Pull low belly down. Inhale, come back centrally, keeping the shoulder blades up. Holding breath just for a moment, squeeze, roll. Curling tailbone, exhale, reach elbows toward the left thigh. So can you reach those elbows leftward in a way that helps you feel the skin around the upper spine, just gently spreading out, smoothing out. Pull low belly down. Inhale, come back centrally, and we'll just do one more on each side. Pause, squeeze, roll. Exhaling, curling tailbone, reach elbows toward right thigh. Reach with those elbows. It's part of the benefit of is we kind of spread the skin and we can start to defrag the spine with these abdominals. Pull low belly down. Inhale, come back centrally. Hold breath, squeeze, roll. Last one, curling tailbone. Exhale, elbows toward left thigh. Keep the squeeze, reach those legs up, pull low belly down. Good. Inhale, come back centrally, set head down. Exhale, feet down. Nice. Now, if that was a lot of inner leg work, you might want to just place the soles of your feet together, letting the knees open apart for a moment. I invite you to do that and breathe into hips, hip creases, inner thighs. Letting those inner thighs relax completely. All right. And then when you walk the feet, into a bridge setup, which is hip width apart. Reaching down with the fingertips, you can skim the heels. Just as a reminder, we are going up into bridge. That block will come in handy. Make sure that's reachable. And then inhaling, lift the chest bones away from your pelvis. So the whole front of the body now starts to arc a little bit, lengthen. Exhaling, shift the tailbone toward the sky. The buttock lifts, the spine lifts. Voila, we're in bridge. At any time, insert the block under sacrum. You don't have to do it right away. In fact, sometimes I find it more beneficial to just hang out in bridge for several breaths until the fronts of the hips start to open up, uncrease after those abdominals, and then it's a little easier to slip the block underneath. I'm going to put our hands on our hips. So my thumb and my forefinger encircle the waist on the left and the right hip bone. And I'm using this hand pressure, pressing the pelvis as if away from my nose. And then by connecting to breath, starting to free up through the spine bones, backs of the ribs. Reaching the thigh bones forward. I'm going to let my hands go from the hips, but we're still in bridge and you still have this block for support. Working half Virasana with an option, and I'll talk us through the whole thing, of reaching the other leg up. Reach down with your left hand for your left ankle. Draw the left ankle back. So first we work the half Virasana. So as I scoop this left foot back toward my shoulder, I may get that top of left foot on the ground. Now, if this proves to be quite a bit of sensation and you just want to work right here, connecting to your breath, this is option 1. Option 2, if you feel very steady resting on your block, you may raise the right leg toward the sky. Please know that it does mean you will have weight on your sacrum, so you're literally sitting on the block to do this. And set that right foot down to the ground if you've been working leg up. And then the left side half Virasana, let's let that up, returning the left sole of foot to the ground. So now we've got both of our feet, soles of feet on the ground, and we're back in bridge for a moment. check that out with a breath or two. Feel with your breath the left and the right sides of the pelvis and the back. And now that half Virasana on the other side, right hand reach down to grab the right ankle. Draw the right foot back. Half Virasana is getting the top of the right foot onto the ground. That's not always possible for everyone's knees or ankles, so you might just have to hold on to that right foot. And then as we connect to breath, feel how breath influences, softens, moves under and through all these bones and tissues. This is a pretty exciting way to literally cleanse, part of a cleansing set of movements. Helps those interstitial fluids move and get expressed. Okay. Option is raising the left leg toward the sky. If you don't like the way that feels sitting on the block, then just keep your left leg planted on the ground. And if you're working left leg up, we'll set it down. And release the right foot from its half Virasana. Set it down, so we're back in bridge. And shift the tailbone toward the sky, pressing off of that block. And I want to emphasize, take your time descending out of bridge. If you have a more fragile feeling low back, you may want to take a lot of breaths so that your descent and the motion of the spine is really gradual. It's no fun being in pain. There's no fun in provoking pain. It's just so we don't have to do it. All right, there's more. When you're ready, turn onto a side and let's get ready for dolphin. It's happening. So we'll be working dolphin with our elbows under the shoulders and the forearms set out in parallel. And I want to encourage us to let this dolphin help warm the shoulders. So if they start to feel a little hot or a little bit, great. It's really kind of challenging to get the shoulder area vascularized, meaning a lot of blood flow through there. Holding a pose is one way, and so I'll encourage you as we're holding dolphin, just keep breathing, know that that warmth and that blood circulation will be really beneficial. Inhale into the back of the heart, sides of the ribs. Curling toes under, exhale, Let's press those knees off ground. Here we are, dolphin. So these actions of kind of defragging the spine, if you will, or just creating little moments of spaciousness around the spine and the joints, right? It helps free up the flow of information, helps free up the energetic movement. So how do you feel this in your dolphin, in this pose? Maybe the strong actions of the legs reaching heels toward ground helps you feel the pelvis lengthening away from the low back, which lifts away from the mid-spine. If you enact such a movement, do you feel a slight lightening up in the spine? Breathe to feel. It's different than thinking to know, right? Thinking about my spine is going to render a very different result than feeling and knowing my spine. Part 2. Walk the feet 1 inch closer to the elbows. Now, as we take that tiny step in, work those legs even more. Keep pressing, lifting the weight of the trunk away from those shoulder joints, those arm bones. And just for the thrill of it, we'll take one final step forward. So if you can afford it, walk the feet 1 final inch closer to your elbows. And gently set the knees down, exiting dolphin. When you're ready, let's stand at the top of mat. Oh, and let's put a block at the foot of our mat. If you don't have a block, you can use your roll, but I think it's really worth getting a block or two. All right. Chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach arms overhead. Exhaling, fold forward, softening through the neck, the eyes. Monkey, inhale, collar away from lap. So if your hands are on the ground, pull the ground. Okay. Now a step back. Remember that block is there, so we step around it, grab it as we lower all the way down. Now you'll have to re-grab it once you've lowered down. Starting with cobra. Inner legs, squeezing block, inhale, hands push, chest elevates, spine lengthens. Exhaling, lower down, letting the block go, downward dog. Right. Warrior 1, inhale, right foot forward. Draw the arms up. Remain right here. Exhale. Press out through your legs. Lifting low back away from pelvis. Now, focusing through our core is just a matter of organization. So as you breathe, feel in and toward the center. Twisting warrior, exhaling, left elbow over right thigh. Left hand makes fist, right hand presses against it. Inhaling, unwind. When you set the left knee down, give it a little extra padding. Okay. Because we did all that great Havarasana earlier, go straight away and reach left hand for left ankle. Grab that left foot, that back foot. Drawing the heel toward the buttock. So with this one, you can bend the left elbow and pull the heel closer to your hip. But use that right leg pressure, that foot press. Feel lengthening through the guts. And when we release, we'll set that down. Remembering there's a block back there. Inhale, hands to floor. Stepping that right foot back. Exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. With the block between your ankles, grab with your fingertips the bottom of your butt. So you're hunting for the sit bones. Those will provide some nice little handles. Squeeze the block. Inhale, fingertips pull against the bottom of the butt, the sit bones, lifting the chest up. Now exhale, squeezing on those legs. Press the block away from your fingertips. And once more, deep breath. Reaching behind the sternum, the collarbone. And release. Inhaling, hands under chest. Exhaling, downward dog. Warrior one, inhale, left foot forward. Drawing the arms up, exhaling, press out through the legs. Can you feel a quality of lightness through the midsection, through the guts as you press legs down and reach arms and torso up? That's it. Can you feel your breath in the waist? Yes, there it is. That's it, Anne Merle. That's it. That's it, Joy. So may the lift that our arms are helping with lighten the low back. So the way that we conduct this Warrior One can lighten and encourage energetic movement, spine, freedom. On our next exhale, twisting warrior, hooking the right elbow over the left thigh. And of course, the right hand can make a fist, and that left hand can press against it. Now, can you feel the influence of each breath in the back of the diaphragm, the back of the ribs, along that right side? Inhaling, when we unwind, giving the right knee extra padding, and we'll set it down for heel to butt lunge. Right hand grabs the right ankle. There's maybe a couple of us who have some tenderness in the low back. If you engage the buttock muscles, you can do so in such a way that provides some structural splinting, you might say. It can help us just create a temporary muscular cast that disallows us moving into those tender areas. So your buttock muscles can be used kind of like a guardrail. And this way you're actually kind of just getting into tissues around the quad, and you're not bending the achy areas of your body. And release. Inhale, we'll place foot down. Now when we step the left foot back, remember there's a block back there. Let's bring our roll into play. It is going to be a roll day. Now it's important that this is a roll. It's soft-ish. It's not square, it's not pointy, it's not edgy. It must be round-ish and soft-ish. And we'll lie belly on roll. The ribs are completely free, entirely free of the roll. If this is a newer move for you and it feels kind of intense, use your forearms to keep you propped up a little bit. That's it. Now let breath become an influencing factor of movement in the guts. I mean, can you feel your breath moving and part of that wash and that massage motion in the guts? Inhale, let's bring the hands back under the chest. Exhaling, press to your knees first, so we can move the roll out. And on a next exhale, downward dog. And just practice this one time, because we'll need it. Turbo dog is keeping the index and the middle palm pad on the ground and turning the arm bones in their socket as if, and you can see it best if you bend your elbows, it's as if you're bringing your elbows more closely together, like arms parallel. I put a load of pressure through the inner part of the hand. I get that index palm pad, that middle palm pad glued to the ground, and I rotate my arm bones. Okay? I rotate my arm bones like I'm doing that kite hawk move. I'm turning all of the arm bones, the upper arm bone, the forearm bones. Now as you do that, relax the neck. There it is. There it is. Lunge. Inhale, step, right foot forward. Left knee, left heel off the ground. Legs press, arms reach up. So for some of you, if it feels appropriate, start to arc a little bit the upper back away from the mid back. So that articulation, that beginning of back bend, you can do with quite a bit of precision, where the upper back is lifting, moving, arcing differently than the mid back. Inhaling, come back upright. Set the hands down. Exhaling, step that right foot back. There's a block there. Chaturanga. You've got that block there. Inhale, cobra. Squeeze those inner legs into the block. Pull the chest forward. Exhale, downward dog. Lunge. Inhale, left foot forward. The right heel and the right knee are off the ground. Often when we work lunge, we'll maintain a fairly vertical trunk. If it feels right for you today, I'll encourage that this is a pretty great moment to lift the upper back and starting a little back bend through the upper and mid spine. And inhale, bring those hands down. Exhaling, step back. You know there's a block there, but let's bring that roll back into our lives. And as we descend, belly onto roll. Grasp the block with your inner ankles. And we're working some cobra over a roll. Place the hands out in front of your shoulders, several inches. And as I inhale, my breath moves into the front of my belly. I use my back muscles to lift me up a little bit. And then exhaling, I'm letting my hands just support me. So my elbows are up off the ground. So here, I'm going to work very specifically to articulate those mid and those upper back bones. How would you get there with your breath? How would you get breath right between your shoulder blades? How would you get breath behind the sternum? And one more. How would you get breath underneath the collarbone? And then exhaling smoothly lower. You may feel some pressure differentials as all your guts and your cells are like fluids are moving. Inhale, hands under chest. Exhaling, press to your knees. Your knees first. Move the roll. Remain right here for just a moment. Breathing into your abdomen and this hands and knees position. And then in your next exhalation, downward dog. Using the legs, strong, vibrant legs, lift the pelvis away from the shoulders. Inhaling, step right foot forward. Two things. We want padding for the left knee. And we want a large loop of strap. The loop is for the left foot. And the two hands. If your strap isn't large enough, make the loop that you can, and then feed a towel through the loop. So it's like an extension cord. You just add a couple of feet to your loop. So no one's low back should feel crunched as we do this. That's really important. Get the length of strap you need so that your back can be free. Right? We're doing this not to bend and crush the body. All of these moves, hopefully, is in service of freeing up energy and information. Okay. Press down through right foot. Your buttock muscles, those can be very helpful here. It's like shifting the tailbone down. It's a strong butt move. And then inhaling, reach with your arms so you're lifting the upper back away from the low back. Exhaling, bringing the elbows together. It's less about the elbows and it's more about that front of body support. Those abdominals and pecs. Lift, reach up through those forearms, reach up through those elbows. As we find more and more space, sense how that might be freeing up the body. do on that side. We can remove the strap. Inhale the hands to the ground. When we set that right knee down, let's grab that roll again. At this point, you can kind of just push or move the block out of the way. Lower belly down. Thighs are on ground. This is key. Both thighs must remain on the ground. Left hand, reach back, grab left ankle. Both thighs stay on the ground. Now as my left foot pushes my hand back, my right elbow lifts slightly off the ground. So my left foot pushes back. Oh, there's that exquisite chest opening move. As my right hand pulls the earth, there's that lengthening, heart away from roll. Now it's easy to get into this spot and have that impulsive feeling of I'm stuck, I'm trapped, I need to get out. I encourage you, can you bring your breath into this experience? Can I be reshaped by each breath? Not by the willfulness or not even the roll necessarily. Can I be reshaped by holy and sacred influences? And release. Inhale, bring the hands under the chest. Exhaling, press to your knees to exit off the roll. Exhaling, next time you exhale, press knees off ground, downward dog. Inhale, left foot forward. Two things, padding for the right knee, so we set it down in lunge. Strap to loop up the right ankle, held by both hands. Now, just a reminder, if I just let my belly kind of flop hang forward, the weight of my organs and my torso will pull my low back into compression. So if I enact a little bit of that elbow tricep forward, if I create just a little bit of knitting activity through the front side, it helps me breathe supportively into the low back. And of course, legs, really strong legs, help back. Keep reaching elbows up, forearms up. You do not have to go deep into the bend. Go up, go light. Move vertically into more freedom. Using your arm strength to reach up, using your leg strength to press down. Where else can you feel a little bit more space starting to emerge? And release. When we remove the loop, set the hands down, grab your roll. There's one side to this bow over a roll. So remember, leaving the left forearm down, both thighs down, right hand, reach back, grab right ankle. Got it? Good. Now inhaling as the right foot pushes the right hand, I lift off my left elbow. As I pull with my left hand, gently. I can feel the heart lengthening away from the gut. And release. Inhale, set the foot down. The forearms can be set down. And on your exhale, press to your knees. Remove the roll. I promise that's the end of roll. Inhale your right foot forward, lounge lunge. So with lounge lunge, my left leg is reaching way back. My left hand is on the ground. And my right arm is captured and hugs my right leg. What would we know about ourselves if energy and information were permitted to move freely around the pelvis, under the heart? What would we know about ourselves? Inhaling, I'm going to unwind and back slightly out of there. Shift your hips over your left knee as we set up twisting, lunge, interlock. So on exhale, I'm hooking left armpit over right thigh. Now that may be all the twist or shoulder maneuvering possible today. For some of you, the shoulders are nice and warm, and you can tuck that left arm under your thigh. If that's the case, interlock is for you. Because my belly is pretty pretty well contacting my thigh, it allows me to breathe into the backside of the body. So direct your breath and then feel how it influences the left side of the waist. Is there relief? Is there letting go? Is there and release. And we'll use a pigeon as one more release move. Walk the right foot across your mat to the left side. Lie shin down. And I'm using pigeon as a back release type of move at the end. I like to move to my forearms. And in a very subtle way, I just imply pulling the ribs forward. It's just intimate, just gentle, gentle, gentle. And as you intimate these movements toward a more spacious body with more free-flowing information, just take note any responses you have toward that. Maybe you have a quick shutdown, or like, no, that, or ooh, yeah, that's really interesting. Just you can start to get interested in any automatic responses that seem to come along with that suggestion. Inhale. Walk the hands back under your chest. Exhaling, will smoothly press back, downward dog. And there's these 3 relief-like poses we'll do on the other side. So starting with lounge, lunge. Inhale, left foot forward. Place right knee down, right hand down. That leaves the left arm to hug the thigh. So, now we're in this relief mode of our practice. Feel breath's influence through the right side of the waist. Up the right side of the spine. It reaches under the right side of the heart. What would that be like to permit ourselves to be influenced by sacred breath? Consciously allowing influence. Right? Takes a unique set of listening skills. Right? As we inhale and unwind, I'm going to back up slightly, preparing for twisting lunge interlock. So I raise the right arm up to get that exquisite length, and then exhaling will hook the right armpit over the left thigh. Okay. This may be all that your shoulder can work with today. Perfect. For the interlock, the right hand snuggles under the left thigh, the left hand reach behind back. Release. As we inhale and unwind, final move, pigeon, before we take final rest. So pigeon. Now, if we have participated in this great informational or energetic kind of movings about, if energy and information has been freed up, if that is the case, how will we start to reorganize? Do we reorganize around what's true and what's sacred, what's beautiful and feeds us and influences us? Or do we organize haphazardly and just hope it's all, different or better? How do we consciously participate in our reorganization? When we sit back onto the left hip, we'll ease out of pigeon. You can bring the right leg around, and we'll move from the seated position to Shavasana. We'll take Shavasana. If you require any additional props, some people like to put soft props under the backs of their knees, as that can help the back. Right? Some people like to put the legs up a wall or up a couch cushion. It's really nice back support. So over the last several weeks of practice together, I've tried to introduce what I feel are approximately 4 really fundamental perspectival moves, practices. We've done some practices where we purely listen, right? Embodying this experiential and receptive state, listening with our whole body. We've done practices of being active, exploring, touching, probing, leaning. That experiential kind of grokking with artifacts. Working with an area. Sending breath into places. And I've tried to work practices where we enter into reciprocity, almost dialogue with artifacts. Conversational, where we listen to our body. We offer some influence, and then we listen and hear what our body has to say. Back and forth. A little active, a little receptive. And how we influence and can be influenced. Being the environment of another and having another be our environment. Interpenetrating. I influence you, you influence me. Breath influences body. Sometimes my conditioning in my body somewhat influences my breath. Feeling that the environment can help change me and my environment. When we have some experience and reflection with these kind of, I think they're kind of fundamental. Movements and perspective taking. My sense is we grow a more full spectrum awareness. It allows for our agency, but it also allows for us to be in communion, in holy, holy, sacred gathering with other holy, sacred individuals. When you're ready, Please bend knees. Turn to a side. And press yourself to seated. You're the best. Namaste.